My name is Cheri Honkala, and I'm from the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign.
And most recently, you did what?
I ran for Vice President of the United States of America on the Green Party ticket.
Would you do me a favor to relate your experience in convincing your presidential candidate to go to jail? How did that work?
Well, it was pretty easy. I was actually surprised that a Harvard graduate, a doctor, somebody of Dr. Jill Stein's caliber would select a running mate like myself. But she certainly knows the crisis that we're facing in this country when it comes to housing. And so, I said the way for us to show families across America that we're willing to do more than just talk the talk, but walk the walk, is if she would join me in a sit-in at Fannie Mae in demanding that families be able to stay in their homes. So she joined myself and members of the Poor People's Economic Human Rights Campaign, and we held a sit-in, and we were arrested like a week after I was selected to be her running mate.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you, I understand and I see exactly why that's important. But you got to admit, at first sound, it's like, wow. All right, now I'm going to ask something serious. First of all, my boss wanted me to ask you two questions. The first is, you're aware, of course, of the Arab Spring, the uprisings throughout the Middle East, that would be. You've seen you've heard of riots in Greece, riots in Spain, riots in Britain. Why is this?
I think that people all over the entire world are tired of pulling the austerity wagon and are tired of not being able to feed themselves, not being able to have a government that provides the basic necessities of life, that denies us education, that doesn't give a damn about the climate crisis that all of us face in the entire world. And so I think that people are getting organized and fighting back against those austerity measures, and that's why we're seeing the uprisings that are taking place all over the world.
Follow-up question on that one. In Athens, 100,000 people march. In Portugal, 100,000 people gather in the square. I was just at a protest downtown for the Move to Amend right before this. 300 people in a city of 3 million. Why only 300? What's the difference between here and there?
I think we have a huge problem in the United States, and we really need some outside support from our brothers and sisters from other parts of the world. We live in a country where there's more people in prison than any place else, and where just being engaged in fighting for our basic rights, we can be basically coined as a terrorist. We can be held without a trial, this happens every day across this entire country, and so we have to do something. We have to begin to get serious about covering what's happening to people in this country. People need to band together to use alternative media to tell the truth about what it is like to organize in the belly of the beast.
That brings up two thoughts. Friends of mine, I followed Occupy with OWS Week for 9 months now, and I've got friends who say to me, are they still together? Are they still doing things? What needs to happen? Because I put the word out there. You put the word out there. Occupies put the word out there. What needs to happen before people pay attention? I think boo-boo seems to get a lot lot of attention. What's up?
Yes, Honey Boo Boo does get a lot of attention, and we need to figure out how to get organized, utilize real independent media in this country, and we need to go back to the business of going door to door and doing the kind of political education that needs to take place. It's just a matter of time. It's like a sleeping giant in this country. The time will come. An Arab Spring is potentially right around the corner in this country. So we need to figure out how do we feed, clothe, and house people and keep them alive while we develop them politically, so that we can take this movement to a whole nother level and play our role in this global fight to create a different kind of world and a different kind of society that values human beings and not corporations.
Now, you brought up something a couple of times in your talk. Housing is a human right. Do you stand by that phrase?
I stand by that phrase. I believe that particularly in this country where we're not dealing with scarcity, where we're not dealing with questions of development, we have a responsibility to feed, clothe, and house people because we live in a country that has an abundance and there's enough to go around.
Now, this leads up to something else you said, which, like, jobs are being exported, robots are doing jobs, let's call them robots, mechanization. Pretty soon, with all the people getting laid out and outsourced and that, we're going to have 9 people in the United States who are doing work. We're going to have 6,000 CEOs and board members. And the rest are going to be left to starve and dig through the dumpsters. Am I kind of looking at how this is? Am I crazy, or am I seeing this something like real, or what?
No, this is exactly the direction that we're headed in. We have larger questions to ask ourselves as a society. If people can't feed, clothe, and house themselves by selling their labor, then we have to figure out how do we reorganize society so that we can meet people's needs, not just here in the U.S., but across the entire globe. And it's all about control. It's all about who makes the decisions. It's all about us getting organized and taking our country and our world back.
And last question, and I'll let you be, because I know you got people here who want to shake your hands in that. You're talking about a post-capitalist world. I think I'm going to use that phrase. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. Sometimes things make sense in my head and nowhere else.
Yes, yes.
But in a post-capitalist world, it would occur to me that it's like being on a razor's edge, and it can fall either way. We could go into an Orwellian society, or we could go into a utopian society. What do we need to do to make sure what do people need to do? People see this in order to head towards utopia as opposed to totalitarianism.
Well, first people need to get serious about studying and really understanding what we're up against. Some people that are out there just think that they can sit this one out. If they sit it out, we're really in trouble. They need to become active participants. They need to educate themselves, and they need to get involved in educating their neighbors, their families, and working with various different organizations and doing all that they can so that we can prepare for this next stage as capitalism is buried and we ensure that that they don't just lock us all up and this becomes a police state, and that we get serious about what it is that we're facing and begin to create the consciousness and the organization that's necessary.
And last thing, just from me to you, thank you for what you said about putting a face on the people who take up these residents, who occupy the residence. You seem to expect things from the people you help, and you seem to expect people around you to respect them because of it, if that makes sense. They aren't just people who are homeless and bums and lowlifes. These are people who could have been you and me.
I think we have to foster relationships where we're political equals. And me promoting a charity or a service model doesn't really promote a relationship where we're political equals. It's like you're my pet or something that I'm going to take care of. You know, all of us are the leaders that we're looking for. We have a responsibility in determining what kind of society and what kind of country we live in. None of us can afford to sit this one out. All of us have to play our individual role in history in taking back our country. We owe that to our ancestors. We owe it to the next generation.